Hello. I'm Camden Walker for Capital Weather Gang. From my yard to your home, I hope you are well. For any time you need us, go to capitalweathergang.com. We're going to talk about the weather for the week ahead. It is a little bit gray, a little bit unwarm, shall we say, neither cool nor hot. With some patchy rain chances. In that aspect, the rain chances are the hardest to pin down on exact timing, placement, confidence with their amounts overall. Generally, it's going to be wetter south and southwest of town, and we can talk about the general pattern ahead. And Tropical Storm Arthur, is not directly going to affect our weather, but it is going to be a component that adds some moisture to our atmosphere to help our rain chances this week. Hello, Kathleen. I hope you are well. How are you? And let's see if I can rotate my comments a little better so I can read them. Let us try this, and then I go down and we try to rotate things this way as well. And any luck? Excellent. I think I can see comments a little bit better now. I hope you all are doing okay. And what I want to show you is this new graphic system that I continue to love. Here is our current scenario. We've got a front stalled over the weekend, over the region, backdoor cold front tonight. We're gonna have to deal with this and an upper level low pressure system for most of this week. So it's going to be a little bit gray, a little bit cloudy, a little bit cool. Francis, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you are well. And Liz, hello. How are you? And I wish these comments would work a little bit better, but at least I can see your comments again this week. Chris, 90 plus is looking like it will be over a week away with decent confidence. Liz, Tropical Storm Arthur is not going to be too, let's see, I'm not sure if I understand, but it's not going to get too close to our region, luckily. It's going to stay offshore. Hello, Karen. Hope you are well. Hello, Michael. Greg, there is no snow in the forecast. And Kathleen, hello. I hope you are well. Are we going to finally have a break in this pattern, stay warm? Asked Wayne. Well, let me skip ahead in my presentation here and show you some hope for maybe later this weekend, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we start seeing a transition. It's not the highest of confidence when that occurs, how warm we get. Notice in this modeling system that the primary model for the temperature is spitting out 70, 78, and 80 degrees for this next Friday, Saturday, Sunday coming up. But there is a range there in the background. The red shading for the high temperature, it has some potential to be higher or lower. So a general rule, when I see 20 or 24 degrees, yes, as a possible range in high temperatures for this coming weekend, it means number one, low confidence in the forecast. Stay tuned as we get closer, and we hope the weather data kind of decides where it wants to go. But this far out, number two, you want to add a few degrees, maybe 7 degrees up and down, below and above what you see here as the primary weather model spitting out 70 degrees for Friday, 78 for Saturday, and 80 for Sunday. So we have some hope that the pattern does break, but let's look further ahead when there's even a better atmospheric signal next work week that we are above average. Now, above average is in the browns, oranges, but the deeper the color, the darker the color for in the above average, for instance, the above average zone, we have a decent probability, almost 50% chance of being above average for the overall characteristic of next work week. And you might ask me, what's the average high temperature next week, Camden? It's about 78 degrees come next Sunday, the start of next week. 78 degrees for a high temperature DCA for an average high temperature next week, starting of next week, and almost 60 degrees for that low temperature and on average for next week as well. All right, good question. Elizabeth, you're most welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And Jim, what about Hamburg, New York? It was snowing 2 days ago. Yes. Let's look at the overall pattern for the nation. This is part of it. We are stuck. And what I drew, this little blue line here, is supposed to show you that it's like the shape of the omega, the letter in the Greek alphabet called omega. It's called an omega block, and it is not good for weather systems consistently and steadily moving west to east like they normally do. The jet stream is essentially kinked up. Our fluid motion, a river of air from west coast to east coast, is interrupted. So we've got a low pressure system digging into the California region, into the Four Corners, and upper level low pressure system digging into our neck of the woods. And when they become cut off from the jet stream, they become harder to predict. Their paths are more erratic. I think you saw late last week, we called this upper level low system near us in the mid-Atlantic and Tennessee Valley, we called it Rogue. So they're hard to predict, and that's why this week it's generally cool-ish, not too warm. It's generally cloudy, and some drizzle, fog, patchy shower chances can't be ruled out. We just don't know how this low pressure system is going to meander. And you're talking about Hamburg, New York getting snow, and that's because of this trough. This portion of the eastern United States, including New York State, is under a trough, and that's why we've cooled off from our 86 degree reading. Our warmest May reading was just a couple days ago, and then I think we had 83 yesterday. So it's been warm, but that is over until we can kick this upper level low pressure system out of here. So great question. Davis, apparently the cutoff low could stay to our southwest and the tropical storm could stay offshore. Yes, that is, I don't think it's going to loop completely. It's not the confidence is not high in this forecast, but let me show you. These are the fronts and the surface features for Monday evening, tomorrow evening. You can see offshore, we've got the tropical storm, Arthur. It does not affect us directly here in DC, and we'll talk about it in a second. But you do have this backdoor cold front that kind of stalls out to our southwest, and the upper level low pressure system that also does stay generally to our southwest. And that should, Arthur contributing a little bit of moisture, but this lift associated with the surface front, the instability associated with this upper level low pressure system, yeah, we're looking at some rain this week. Here's the next 3 days, the next 72 hours, and generally more wet than not south and southwest of town. So around DC, do you really need to carry an umbrella over the next 72 hours through, maybe this says 8 p.m. on Wednesday. This is what the estimated precipitation is forecast here in this map through 8 p.m. on Wednesday. No, you don't necessarily need to carry an umbrella, but it's not, I'm not guaranteeing it's going to be dry around town. We could see some fog, patchy drizzle, a couple scattered showers that are quick hitting, but generally because this front that we're talking about is staying, it is staying south of the city. And here it is on Tuesday evening. It's still, yes, slipped further south of the city, but you can see in this peppered green on the map, we still could have an isolated shower, maybe a patchy period of rain, or even an isolated rumble of thunder, but the main heavy rain stays in that red area south of town. So I hope that helps guide you. And let's look at the short-term forecast here. If I can get the graphics to cooperate, so let's turn off these and let me show you tomorrow's high temperatures. They're not cool, they're not cold, I guess I'll say. They're not hot, they're kind of in the middle. And think about it, that our average high temperature this time of year should be 76 degrees, okay? So when I put this up and you see near 70, maybe low 70s for the sunnier patches tomorrow, it is still below average. We're still cooler than we should be this time of year. All right, let's see what other questions you might have. Who's going to need an umbrella? Asked Holly. Generally, for the next 72 hours, based on these rain estimates, I would say south and southwest of town. Charlottesville, even Fredericksburg, Culpeper, you're going to want to consider having a small umbrella on hand for the next 3 days or so. But let's look again at the forecast this week. And again, not a washout. We had initially thought, we were worried going in even to this weekend, as recently as yesterday, we thought this upcoming week would be rainier than this. So we're kind of lucky around DC anyway for a trade-in, a trade-off. We're trading in some of the rain for simply some clouds. So yes, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you see indicated here on this great graphic from weather.us, some sunny patches are possible. But please don't think that, a couple raindrops, a couple showers are not possible here and there. Some drizzle, some morning fog. It is going to be a little clammy at times. And we've got, don't forget, Tropical Storm Arthur is nearby. Here's a multi-panel view. Here's the satellite view on this part here off the southeast coast. So it is swirling. It is not too strong. 45 mile per hour max winds when I took a look about a half hour ago. So it's a weak tropical storm, but a tropical storm nonetheless. And there are tropical storm warnings here indicated on the coast of North Carolina. The Outer Banks could see some tropical storm force winds, but nothing too terrible, nothing too long lasting. But the worst, and there could be some over 2 inches of rain indicated on that far panel in the darker green. Patches of rain over 2 inches are possible, and sustained winds over 40 miles an hour over the 39 mile per hour tropical storm wind threshold. So it is not looking too good on the Outer Banks tomorrow, but luckily not any worse. Luckily, we're not talking about a strong tropical storm. And it is generally moving in a forward motion that doesn't let it stick around to the worst again tomorrow morning in the Outer Banks. And it is close enough to our region to give a few rain showers, a few wind gusts under 30 miles per hour to southern Maryland perhaps tomorrow, southern Delmarva, maybe Virginia Beach sees a couple showers and a couple wind gusts around 30 miles an hour, but nothing too bad and nothing directly into our area that we need to worry about. But some of this moisture from Arthur could get kind of entrained and sucked in to our front that is hanging out this week. Again, let's take another look. Here's Tuesday evening. This front is still, even though it's south of town, we're in this upper level low pressure system regime. So we have the surface front, we've got this upper level low pressure system hanging out over us, creating even more instability. And we just can't win this week. We're not gonna be able to clear out, we're not gonna be able to warm up, but overall, you can see not too bad. Not cold, not hot, not rainy, not dry. It's kind of a mediocre week by many accounts. All right, Katrina, will this be an active hurricane season? Generally, yes, is where the forecasts are leaning it to be active. And it's not generally a good sign not to see a storm before the June 1 start of hurricane season. So it's not a great sign to see that with Arthur hanging out off the coast. But you know, it's not a guarantee either that we see an extremely active hurricane season in the Atlantic Basin as well. Blah week sounds about right, Michael. Yes, indeed. So you agree. And I'm sorry if you disagree with today's 7 out of 10. We had our 4th 7 out of 10 in a row. And it, you know, we could have used more sunshine, but I thought Brian did a decent job at justifying himself. Oh, and if you're a pollen sufferer, luckily pollen's a little more under control. This is the Friday reading, but we've got a little bit of everything for everyone, especially trees and grasses being a little bit high, but I've noticed I'm a little bit better today with some clouds, some moisture in the air, a couple raindrops helping to keep the pollen a little bit under control. Michael, I'm gonna make, let's see, I missed that. Let's see, Michael, I'm gonna make my kids walk to the bus stop this week and just pretend to make sure they don't forget where it is. Well, as long as I can do it with some social distance and they have a couple layers in the early morning when it's a little chilly, no worries. Let's see, what else? Francis was really hoping for rain during the week. So hard to focus on work when it's nice and cool outside. Well, at least we can open the windows more often than not this week. I mean, these temperatures are not too bad. So I hope it's a compromise if you can't go outside and you do want to telework inside, maybe open the windows. It gets a little bit warmer by the end of the week. You know, lower confidence on exactly where we end up later in the week, but the transition as we get this upper level low pressure system out of here this weekend, again denoted here in the Tennessee Valley, and I tried my best with the blue marker to show you the omega shape to the pattern in the United States. It's called an omega block. It doesn't move very fast or very predictably. It is an interruption to the jet stream flow. It does not move the jet stream won't any further flow west to east like in a smoother manner that it normally does. So we have an upper level low pressure system. California has one. They're cut off from the main flow, so they're going to be meandering. They've gone a little bit rogue this week, so we will just bear with us anytime you need us at capitalweathergang.com and on Twitter at Capital Weather and here on Facebook. We'll keep you posted as we get more and more confidence on when exactly we kick this thing out of here, hopefully by Saturday evening, and then we can warm up a little bit more on Sunday. So I hope that helped answer your question on the timing and when we think we might get a little warmer. All right, Holly, let's see. You asked, you think the weather will turn hot and muggy after this system? Any way to predict? Well, it looks like it might be above average next work week. So here's the map. And it, with that color shading, it's kind of a medium orange on the map, and that kind of indicates, as you can see on the color scale down there, 50-60% chance of being above average for the temperatures next work week. And you might ask me, what is average? And it's about 78 when we start next week for an average high temperature at DCA Airport. So could we be at or above 78 degrees? Yes. Does it look like a massive heat spike? Not necessarily, but we want to make sure the jet stream has reestablished itself next week, and then we have a little bit more predictable, higher confidence forecasting for you. So we got to just kick this upper level low pressure system out of here by the end of the week, and then we'll get back to you on how next week looks with a little bit more confidence. But the signal is probably warmer than not. Let's see, Brad, any of the next 10 days looking 20 to 40 degrees above average? That is a very specific request. I don't see that happening straight away. That's my quick answer. Brad is looking for a heat wave, I assume. Chase, what happened to the rain chance? Why did it go south? Might it come back? Well, so it could come back. This upper level low pressure system meandering in the Tennessee Valley. And this is a map for Tuesday, right? It's kind of moving southwest of town. So for the near term, the next 72 hours, here are the rain chances, the rain accumulation potential, generally wetter south and southwest of town. That's kind of medium confidence, decent confidence over the next 72 hours. But yes, could it come back by the end of the week? It's going to meander around. It's gone a little bit rogue. It's not part of the jet stream. It's cut off from the west to east flow that we normally see over the United States. So yeah, as it comes back toward us on Friday, Saturday, we finally are trying to kick it out of here. Yep, we could see some rain chances come back by Friday, Saturday. And you can see that on the forecast. Holly, you're most welcome. And what else have I missed here? Aaron, the silver lining for another cloudy week is the energy savings from an AC not running. I totally agree with that. I'm always happy to save on the energy bills. Yep, Jackie, a bit dreary week as well, but it looks like it was going to be wetter. So I'm trying to give a silver lining that's at least around DC. It's we're trading in the rain for clouds, which is not a huge trade up, but hopefully that's something for you. So the rain estimates, Jen, for Central Virginia, let's go over that one more time. I had that up. For Culpeper region, not too much here in the next 72 hours. This map again, the next 3 days through about Wednesday, 8 p.m. Generally around you, Central Virginia, Culpeper, 0.2 inches over the next 3 days. Nothing too heavy, nothing too long lasting, but you are in the higher rain chance area because we've got this front. This is the Tuesday evening frontal boundary projections. It's still south of town. The rain in the red there is the heaviest, again staying south of the region, but maybe around Lynchburg, Roanoke, you're on the edge of that heavier rain. So we got to watch this upper level low pressure system. We've got to watch this moisture from Arthur, not directly impacting our region, Tropical Storm Arthur. There's a tropical storm warning up for the Outer Banks of North Carolina, but it does look to move away after hitting the Outer Banks hardest tomorrow morning, Monday morning. So this moisture from Arthur does kind of stay around, a little bit entrained into our flow by this upper level low pressure system, and this surface front that just doesn't want to go away and kind of hangs out south of the region as well. Can you see that there? Kind of in North Carolina, it's kind of draped there, and the heavier rain denoted in the red batch. The good news is generally southwest of town. But again, yep, further southwest of town in the next 3 days, the more you're going to want that umbrella. So do keep that in mind. Here again, one last time before I go, are the rain projections for the next 72 hours through Wednesday, 8 p.m. You might want to have an umbrella if you're in the Charlottesville area over the next 3 days or so. This is a rain projection. Divide that by 3 days. It's not too heavy, but there could be some periods of rain, even maybe an isolated quick thunderstorm southwest of town in the Charlottesville area as well. So thank you all for joining me. I hope I answered most of your questions, that you could see the graphics, which are working again for a second week in a row, but it does put my comments on a separate screen. Jen, you're most welcome. And Jenny, how are we tracking for rainfall this spring? We are above average by 2 inches for year to date from January 1. So that was a great question as well. No worries about droughts right now. And if you've been gardening, which finally we've cleared the last frost and freezes around the region, we can put that behind us. But your soil should be nice and moist. It is good for gardening right now. And Brad, last question, let me take yours. What is average high temperature for mid-July? About 89 degrees for high temperature, and I believe the low temperature is right around 74 degrees. So let's call it high upper 80s for the region in mid-July for average high temperature, and mid-70s for an average low temperature in mid-July. So great question. And Francis, thanks for joining. I'm glad you enjoyed the graphics. One last time before I go, here's the forecast for the week ahead. Not too warm, I guess not rainy, but we do have a pretty cloudy week ahead. Patchy showers and drizzle can't be ruled out here and there. And keep in mind, with an upper level low pressure system in the area, along with a surface front stalled out, and not to mention strike 3 being a little bit of moisture provided by Tropical Storm Arthur off the coast, not impacting our region directly, we have some unpredictability to the weather this week. So please stay tuned to us at capitalweathergang.com. You can click on my face for all the links. They should pop up below on your mobile device. Go to the latest forecast, cwg.news/latest. And we discuss also the kind of less predictability in our weather models with the COVID era grounding many flights and ships at sea not providing data into the weather models. Go to cwg.news/weather models there for that. And what else? Follow us on Twitter at Capital Weather, and have a decent start to your week, and try to stay mentally healthy despite the cloud cover that might dominate much of this week. Take care for now. Bye-bye.